Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Balanced Blueprint podcast. My name is Robert, and today we are going to just talk about one subject, and that subject is going to be comparing yourself. It's something that we all do, and we shouldn't. So let's get into this topic, and we'll have a short discussion about it. And if you have any comments or questions, please put them down in the comments section, and I'll be happy to get back to you. So I was watching another podcast the other day, and the host made a comment about don't compare yourself. One of the biggest things that we do that can ultimately lead to our failure is comparing ourselves. And I'm as guilty as anybody. When I started on this little endeavor of content creation and doing my YouTube channel, that was the first thing I did. I started looking at everybody's videos and I started thinking, yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to achieve that. I don't have this kind of camera. I don't have this kind of office area or, whatever the case may be. And I started comparing everything I had and everything I did to all of these other super successful people. And once I actually started creating content, I even did more comparison, which was even worse because then it was all of a sudden of, well, I put this video out. It was a pretty good video, but it's got like 2 views or I only have, 3 likes on this particular piece of content or nobody's reading my blog post on my website. Um, and that's a dangerous, dangerous rut to get in because first off, you are the only person that's you. You can't be them. Talents are different, situations are different. There's a lot of variables that go into why they're successful the way they are, and maybe you're not as successful yet. But notice I say yet, because you don't want to get into a rut where the comparisons you make discourage you and cause you to stop doing what you're doing. Because as this sign says right here, don't quit. You can't quit. Comparing yourself is going to cause you to quit because you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get disappointed, and it's going to be hard for you to just focus on what you need to focus on. So, personally, what I did is I just stopped with the comparison. And instead of comparing, I began to just learn from. So I would still watch other people's, videos and podcasts and read other people's blogs and all of that. But instead of saying, why can't I achieve that? Or why are my videos not performing as well as those videos? I would say, why are those performing so well? So I can try to learn from their recipe and apply it to my individual style and my individual process because that's what we are is we're all individuals. We can't mimic everything we see. It doesn't work because I could do exactly what, you know, person A does and achieve zero success. And they're achieving a lot of success, but vice versa. They probably couldn't duplicate and mimic everything that I'm doing to generate the success that I have. Albeit my success right now is small, but I am having success. I have 2 monetized channels, earning a little bit, not a lot, but the channels continue to grow. The subscribers continue to grow. I'm posting content on the website. The website traffic is gaining a little bit of traction, but that's okay. I am okay with the rate at which my content is growing and how it's performing. Because the main thing that I want to do is I just want to make sure I'm giving something to my viewers and my readers that can benefit their journey or whatever process they're in. And it's hard sometimes. It's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to stay excited. Sometimes I don't want to do this because I'm tired or whatever the case may be. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to suck it up and just do it. because the more you do it, the easier it's going to be, the better you're going to get at it, and the faster it's going to grow. And so don't get stuck in that rut of comparison, and instead learn from the other people who are successful. Continue to watch their videos and read their posts, see what they're doing different, and then try to take that information and apply it to your content and your style and your personality and how you do things, instead of mimicking exactly what they're doing. I can tell you from some of the posts and things I've done after I kind of changed my whole thought process about it, um, they definitely started to perform. But here's the main thing that happened is I stopped getting so discouraged. I stopped getting so frustrated. And I continued to, or I should say, actually, I started to have fun again. Because when I first started this, it was fun. I was having a good time. I was like, man, I'm learning a lot of stuff. This is really cool. But then I started getting frustrated and irritated that I wasn't, growing at a faster rate, and people weren't subscribing to my channels and reading my posts. But that just created a situation where I didn't want to do it even more. So, yeah, it's a vicious cycle, and it's sometimes hard to get out of. So if you're in it, just I'd recommend that you stop, take a step back, evaluate who you want to speak to, what it is you want to speak about, formulate a plan, and then execute it. And then come into it with a spirit of learning instead of comparing. And I guarantee you, your whole experience is going to change. I'm not saying you're going to rocket to the moon, and suddenly you're going to be making a ton of money. You're going to have a bunch of subscribers and your channel's going to be monetized, or whatever it is you're doing, print on demand, whatever it is. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is that you'll begin to enjoy the process again. And that's what's key to your success, is enjoying your process and being steadfast in just creating content that means something, that is consistent, and that is from the heart. And that right there is going to be your recipe. People talk about it all the time. I read all these articles and I watch all these videos where people talk about the YouTube algorithm. And, I got to beat the algorithm. I got to figure the algorithm out. And over and over, I see the people that are being successful saying, don't worry about the algorithm. Replace the word algorithm with audience. You know, Instead of saying, what does the algorithm want? What does my audience want? You know, that's where you're going to be successful. When you start to develop things your audience wants to hear, see, read, the algorithm is going to pick up on that automatically. You don't have to worry about it. So forget about the algorithm. Forget about what YouTube is looking for. It's looking for genuine content that your viewers want to view, and that the readers want to read, and that's all there is to it. Um, it doesn't. It's not rocket science. I don't think that they formulate things to make it so hard that it's completely unachievable. But you're focusing on the wrong thing if you're focusing on algorithm. You're focusing on the wrong thing if you're focusing on comparing yourself to all these super successful YouTubers or whatever the case may be. Focus on yourself, on your process of why you're wanting to do what you're doing, and just create your content. Um, Sean Cannell of Think Media, when you look at the Think Media YouTube channel, he's got a little intro that just says, sometimes you just have to hit record. And that's really true. Sometimes you just have to sit down, have your plan in front of you, have your ideas that you want to talk about, and just hit the record button and just go. And then you can take your recordings, then you can put your edits, and then you can publish them, and you just keep reproducing that over and over. So stop comparing yourself, start learning from the successful people instead of mimicking them, and focus on your content and your strategy, and you'll be successful. And again, if you have any questions, comments, please put them down in the comment section. I'll be happy to get back to you. Um, if you have some ideas on something you want to, have me talk about, include that too. These podcasts are typically going to be short. I don't typically get into, hour, 2 hour long podcasts. So, these are going to be rather short, to the point, uh, pointing at topics that are going to be valuable to the viewer and not get dragged on. One of the things I always hated when I was watching people's videos sometimes is the fact that they just dragged on over and over, kind of saying the same thing. And I just felt like I didn't learn anything. So I'm hoping that I can give you short but super valuable snippets of information. So hopefully I'm achieving that goal. But again, let me know what you think. I would sure love to hear about it. I am going to include in the comments section, or excuse me, in the description, a link to some products and courses that I think are super helpful. One of them is Greg Godfrey's course. I talk about it in other podcasts that I've done and on my website and whatnot. His course has been instrumental in kind of helping me get started in this process. It was the only thing that really clicked, that just made sense. And it's simple, it's easy. He doesn't get all drawn out and complicated with it. So definitely want to go check that out. But again, let me know what you think. Leave me some comments. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and all those good things. And I definitely appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.